In 2020, because of COVID-19, traveling is out, but there's no reason you can't meet old and make new friends at an Agile conference. The Scrum Master Toolbox podcast teamed up with Tom Henriksen to organize the 4th year of the Agile Online Summit, and you can attend for free. There will be networking events, lots of talks on important topics, and 8 amazing keynotes from Mary Poppendick to Alan Holub, Jeff Patton, who's the creator of User Story Mapping, Neil Killick, who's a no estimates pioneer, Jeff Watts, author of Scrum Mastery, a great book for Scrum Masters, Jeff Gotthelf, Bob Galen, and our very own Markus Hammarberg, who's the author of the Bungsu Story, a great Agile transformation story. You can get your free tickets at bit.ly/SMAOS 2020. All lowercase, all one word. Once again, bit.ly/SMAOS 2020. All lowercase, all one word, and the link is also on the show notes. You can get your free ticket or opt for the full digital access that lets you keep all the conference videos forever. And for example, organize Agile learning sessions at work by watching those videos. You can get the full digital access at bit.ly/SMAOS 2020. But don't forget, there will be lots of live networking events, so I'll see you at the conference floor. Hello everybody, welcome to our Success Thursday episode this week with Arjay Hinek. Hi Arjay, welcome back.
Thank you very much for having me, Vasco. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. So Arjay, on Thursdays we will talk about success for sure, but before we dive into that, do share with us, what's your favorite retrospective format and why?
Well, it's funny that you're asking that around success, because I think good retrospectives are part and parcel to success. But my favorite retrospective is kind of a boring one. But I've had a lot of success with it, and that it's a running ledger. Basically, I like to use a Google Doc or any kind of Word doc that you can keep expanding on. And I just ask those classic questions: what worked well in this last sprint? What tripped us up? And what can we work on to improve? I do modify it slightly from there, because first of all, I say what tripped us up. It's not what went wrong, because tripped us up allows for a certain amount of psychological safety where people can say, well, okay, maybe we did it, or maybe it was something else. It pushes people towards talking about what the problem was, not who did something wrong. But then when we talk about what went well, the team starts, as they begin to describe the things that went well, I begin to pull from them, okay, what made that happen? What caused that positive thing to occur? Because I'm trying to get out of them certain actions that we can take and we can make part of the team DNA. And what those positive things then going down in that third section is what can we work on to improve? And we're basically building that list. So that's the positive things. And then we talk about, what can we work on to improve, or what tripped us up. And what we're looking for there is the things that, obviously that didn't help us, and looking for things that we can keep from happening ever again. And not necessarily the solution to it, but just what caused it and what can we do. And then that goes down into that list. So now we've got a list of things that we want to make sure we keep doing and things we want to make sure we don't do ever again. And what really works well about this is that concept of the team DNA. It really, you can see people's kind of eyes light up when the first time they hear that on a team, because they realize that we're not just doing this as another rote exercise. We're actually doing this to develop ourselves. This is about us. And it gets teams more invested, team members more invested in it. And then we only take on 1 or 2 for the following sprint, and we assign who's going to own it, who's going to make sure that we ingrain the positive thing, or maybe prevent a negative thing from ever happening again. And the reason I make that a running ledger is so that the following retrospective, we go back and look at the previous week's retrospective, and we ask ourselves, did we achieve the things that we said we were going to do? Did we actually get those done? A good practice also with this big running ledger is to every quarter or so, go back and review all the things we said we were going to do, and talk about what their impact was, whether or not we actually achieved them, or whether or not we've slipped back into some of the old bad habits that we thought we were going to cure ourselves of. And I will admit that there have been plenty of times where it's gone a whole year before I said, oh, we got to go back and look. So if you're going to use this technique, I highly recommend set a calendar reminder to do a quarterly.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, or just schedule every second or third retrospective to be a retrospective on what we've learned and what we may want to take on from there, right? Because, as you said, I remember the first few years I was a Scrum Master. We did a lot of retrospective. We even had a sort of a running ledger, so we had flip charts plastered all over the walls of the team room, but we never really looked back.
Yeah, and that's the key to this, and like I said, there have been times where I've forgotten to go back and look, but because the team was doing so well, right, and you're just moving along so well, and you're like, well, I think we're good. I think we're good, but it's sort of like boiling the frog. You can find yourself cooking yourself in some negative things that you totally forgot about because you took your eye off of it. And you've been surrounded by it for so long that you didn't even realize that you've gotten back into some bad habits.
Absolutely. All right, Arjay, we do this, as you pointed at the start of your answer, to make sure we help the teams be successful. So let's talk about what success means, not only for the teams, but especially for us as Scrum Masters. So what does success mean for you as a Scrum Master, Arjay?
Yeah, for the first few years as a Scrum Master, I didn't really even pay attention. I didn't measure. I didn't really think about it. But as I got further into it and started helping other Scrum Masters, I started realizing, yeah, I even need to be more cognizant of this myself. And so I kind of landed on some key pieces of. And that is a thing I preach, and I say the word preach because I really do preach it, is our job as Scrum Masters is to work ourselves out of a job. And so if team members don't need me around much anymore, if they can run all of their ceremonies, if they don't have any more questions, if they're holding each other accountable, then I know I've done a really good job as a Scrum Master, and I can probably leave and move along. Maybe I'll come back and help them once a quarter to do a retrospective of retrospectives or something. But that's true success as a Scrum Master, is that they don't need you anymore. But when I'm working with a team, I know I've been successful when I hear a product owner explaining something like confidence intervals to stakeholders. That's one of my favorite things. I know I've reached my product owner when they can actually talk about not just the mechanics, but the philosophy of how the team works, how to measure team's throughput, how to use that measurement to be predictive within a range of delivering different projects. So I know that's a sign that my product ownership work has gone well. I know I'm being successful with a team. If they push back, say in a planning session, they're like, "Yeah, we're trying to take on too much work," or they feel empowered to speak up and say that something's gone wrong. Or if at the end of planning, one of the team members throws a 2 when everyone else has thrown a 3 or a 4 during the fist of 5, and they're predictive how well the sprint's going to go. That means that they feel all of the things that they should feel. They feel courage by basically pulling the end-on cord, saying, no, that's not going to work. It means they're committed to the success of the team. They're actually taking this planning seriously, and they're committed to the standards that the team agreed on. They respect the process that the teammates should be following and how this all should work. And they're focused enough on what we're doing at the time. They didn't just kind of blow it off and go, sure, yeah, whatever, we'll do it. So if you think about it, those are all the values of a good Scrum team, right? And so I know I'm being successful if I see those kinds of those ready and courageous and committed and respectful behaviors going on in a team. And ultimately that all leads to, trust, right? If everybody feels they can do those things, they can speak up during sprint and say something's going wrong, that they feel that there's trust within the team. And, that goes a huge distance for success for a team.
One of the things I like in what you said is that you described, and therefore you say that when you're successful, you see the values of Scrum in the team, and in this case, also the product owner's behavior?
Yeah, it's all about watching from a Scrum Master. You know, if you find yourself having to talk a lot, then you probably aren't doing things quite so well.
Yeah, Scrum Masters observe.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Observe and possibly nudge, or observe and then ask is probably the best model for a good Scrum Master.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, we would be taking their role in terms of improvement, right?
Exactly.
When we ask and let them find their improvement, then they are taking ownership.
Yeah, and it sounds so easy to say it the way we just described it, but it's not that easy. It's really hard to not go, I just know, just if you guys just do this thing.
Yeah, just do what I tell you.
Just do it. But yeah, you got to hold back and keep asking, and sometimes you can see, especially if it's a good-natured team, they'll smirk when they see me asking questions, because like, he knows the answer.
You know the answer, right, Arjay?
Yeah, exactly. It's good stuff.
Thank you very much for that, Arjay.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Part of a successful Scrum Master job is to help the product owner. Tomorrow we explore that critical role in Scrum, the product owner role. Tune in to learn about product owner anti-patterns, what you can do to help the product owner, and a real-life example of what a great product owner is and what made it so. Tomorrow on our Friday Product Owner episode. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.